Hello. This is on mute. I think that's everybody now. Woo-hoo. It's like a weird point of view. That works. Let's see how it is now. I'm gonna bring this down. So, well, welcome. It looks like we have everybody here today. Sarah and Cha, Amy on her dummy, and Jennifer. Yay! We're just picking up on our leg locks from passing. I prettied my board this week. So I'll review the concepts for today, and we'll get back into the leg locks we were doing last week and the week before. I didn't add anything new for those of you who missed last Monday. We just reviewed the knee bars and the toe holds that we did the week before and added a few minor details. Well, not minor, they're just little details to help your game be a little tighter. What else? So today we're going to go into some heel hooks from the same exact pass. So let me just pick up my camera, turn and flip to my nice little whiteboard. Can you guys all hear me good? Thumbs up if you can. All right, good. Okay, good. Here we go. So we have our leg locks. Who this? Clara. Hello, Clara. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm wanting to try this class out for the first time. Is that okay?
Yeah. Are you new to jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be, are you in a place at your studio where you are right now to either maybe drill with a dummy, or maybe you can watch and take notes?
Maybe I'll watch and take notes, and maybe I can try and come to another class. I wasn't sure entirely the setup, so I'm also fine just watching.
Okay. Yeah. You guys so right now is a good time for you to kind of hop in, because I'm going over the concepts for the jiu-jitsu movements that we'll be doing today in the class. So today is a practical application class where you will have your drilling dummy that you'll use, and you will be learning and applying your techniques to your drilling dummy. And if you're so fortunate, like Cha and Sarah, to have a close friend that you really trust, you can bring them to your home and you can drill with them, or a roommate, or whoever you live with if they're into jiu-jitsu too. And I always like to have one person, like you in this class, you always see actually one pair. So today it's Cha and Sarah. I usually have an uke with me, but she's, it's Thanksgiving week, so she's away. So luckily we have Cha and Sarah, who is going to be our in partner trainings. So we've been going over passing and leg locks lately. And these are some of the main concept steps. So the main drill that we do to reinforce our leg lock skills is what I call the eskrima, but it's basically just leg pummeling. And we'll go over that here in a second. And what that skill that helps us develop is leg dexterity. So we want to learn how to be able to use our legs like hands. And so this drill helps us develop that skill. We also want to reinforce a concept from this drill. And it's a huge concept that I say in just about every class, in just about every move. And that's the concept of having inside control. So for the main concepts for today's class is inside control, learning how to create tension or creating a grip, learning how to drive from our feet and our hands to apply pressure onto our opponent, learning how to compromise the structure of the body in order to have a really great guard pass and have a really great positional control over side control, and also utilizing effective posts so the person cannot regain their guard and you can still stay ahead of the game. So Clara, since you're new, are you familiar with side control position in jiu-jitsu?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
I don't want to hold up the class. I just, I would love for you to just go ahead and pretend I'm not here, and I'll sort of learn that way, I think.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with our leg dexterity drill, which is our leg pummeling. So for those of you who have a chair, or if you have your training partner or dummy, we're going to get all set up and we're going to start with a few minutes of leg pummeling. Okay, so my rabbit is literally right next to the camera and she is not moving. She's just being stubborn. Okay, all right, let me grab the chair. So I have my chair down. We're going to work on our leg pummeling drill. Let me put this one sideways. So we're here. And let's start off with a few minutes of escrimas. Jennifer, do you have your dummy or a chair anywhere? Okay, let's get up. Let's get set up. And we'll go through it. So this is the leg dexterity that we've been trying to develop and working on with our eskrima drill. Okay, so we start with both our knees on the outside of the leg, Michael Jackson our feet. Then we're going to swivel our knee around the leg of the chair or the leg of our opponent. And then we swivel our other leg in. And so this gives us inside control. So, boom, in, swivel, swivel, and then we back out. Swivel, swivel, and then back out. You can also swivel, swivel. You'll have inside control. And inside control means you're dominating the inside space. Both legs are inside their legs. And then you can also swivel outside one leg and outside the other leg, just to continue learning how to get good leg dexterity, right? So not only am I gaining good leg dexterity here, but I'm also learning how to stay in contact and have good sensitivity with my legs onto the legs of the chair, which is just mimicking the legs of my opponent. All right, so keep going. I'm gonna look at everybody, make sure everyone's doing it well. So this is our first concept, learning how to get inside control, developing leg dexterity. Good job, Jennifer. Good job. So Sarah, since you have a training partner, this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna use Barry. He doesn't have great leg dexterity. He's kind of a really whatever training partner. But when I get in leg control, right? So I swivel. Remember, we want to be in this squat position. And if you look at my legs, they're not square, right? So they're not square. They're not in the same alignment. When I get inside space and I dominate inside space, right? I'm going to take an angle. So I'm going to have one leg that's leading. The other leg is going to be trailing behind. And I'm going to squat, trying to force the person to get into a split. That's going to really be uncomfortable for them because you're going to be at their very end range for their guard, right? So they're going to be completely stretched out. Nobody wants to be here with their knees stacked into their chest and then their legs completely stretched out to their end range where they can't move anymore, because then it's going to be very hard for them to swivel back in, for them to then have those butterfly hooks / inside control. Okay, so do it again, Sarah. So Cha down, Sarah on top. Both legs in, pressure. So you want to cut and get into that knee pin angle wide, and then drop your booty. Drop your booty, really squat down. Yeah. You don't need to get your knee below her knees. You want your knees above her shins. You want your knees above her, your kneecaps above her shins, and pushing her knees down, right? Yes. Now with your arms, you want this T-Rex, right? So we don't want to be splayed out, because then Cha can take her hooks from being in your knee pits to being in your armpit and your flank. And this is another inside space that she can control. So you want to be here, T-Rex arms, splay her out, get down and low. Yeah, yes. And then you can actually use your hands over her kneecaps. So I'm going to use, let's use a good angle here. Use hands on the kneecaps and kind of hook her knees. Use your elbows as little hooks to control that inside space too. So with Barry, I'm holding on, right? So where my hands are, just imagine those are his kneecaps. I'm here, boom, I'm down low. I'm going to control it. I don't want my wrists over the knee, then I'm not controlling anything. Yeah, better, good. You'll just find your range from there with your feet. Yeah. Same thing, Cha, try to have some tight elbows. Try not to let your elbows get out here. Keep them tight. Keep them tight. Yeah. Elbow knee connection. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say that your stance is staggered? Like, is your hip like turned in one direction?
I was just gonna go over that, Amy. So this is everybody look in. So this stance is what is something we all took, my team took from wrestling. So in your wrestling stance, you want to have a straight upper back. You don't want to be bent over. and you don't want to have straight legs, right? This is just a recipe for you to be taken down. So what we learned, how I learned how to get into a good stance for wrestling was to basically think of my feet as a box. So if you guys can see me in the wide view, not the close view, a little bit better. So my feet are in a box. I'm going to take one step forward and a slight step back. So each foot is on the is at an angle. So I'm taking the corner of that box. One foot has the top right corner. The other foot has the bottom left corner of the box. Okay. And usually my back foot is going to be pointed a little bit off to, I don't know, 9 o'clock, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to be on my instep so I can drive off my instep. I'm not really driving off my toes in wrestling. So I'm here. Once I have that stance, that stagger stance that I'm talking about, then I'm going to touch my toes, right? So my nose is going to be right above my toes. So I'm bending over. And then I'm going to drop my butt. So I'm here. Okay? That's the stance you guys want to be in. So I'll do it again. I'm just kind of standing regular. I'm going to take one step forward, one step back, turn my back toes to 9 o'clock. So I'm on the instep. Then I'm going to bend over, reach my toes, drop my butt to the point where my elbows, and this is where you guys can see the tight view, toes. So you see how my legs are straight. When I drop my butt, I'm dropping it low enough where my elbows and my hip can connect. This is the position you want to be in. Yeah, that's good, Amy. Straight upper back. So we don't want to be bent over. The reason why you don't want to be bent over, and this is something that a lot of people in jiu-jitsu do, when you're like, oh, I'm going to tie up into the lapels and pull to whatever guard you want. You'll see a lot of jiu-jitsu people do this, right? Straight legs, bent over. This is susceptible to you getting snapped down. So a lot of people who understand wrestling or understand takedowns will mess with your head. And that's why a lot of jiu-jitsu people don't want to mess with wrestlers and take down people, because they're constantly getting snapped down and taken down. And it's a very aggressive game. If you have your heads stacked straight up and down, you're in posture and you're going to be strong enough. So if somebody tries to grab your head, you can posture back and you can fight against that a little bit better. So, yeah, it does take some leg strength. So when we do our jiu-jitsu fitness class, the legs class again, maybe we'll do a little bit of it on this Saturday. We'll do a workout for that, because really it's going to take some leg muscular endurance. Yeah, that's good, Amy. That position, that's where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. So try it on your, try it on your dummy. Much better, Sarah. That was so much better. Exactly. That's where you want to be. And now you're in an athletic position to move. You can use these little hooks. Instead of being like this, I want you to hook those legs and like actually cover her kneecaps. Much better. Get hot in here. I'm not sure if you guys can see this little white blob next to the wide view camera, next to my camera. That's my rabbit. She's just like sitting next to the camera. She's so silly. She's not moving for anything. They're just like a little white little freaking, like, oh, is that leftover clothes you left there? No, that's Snowflake. And then wrestling stance, Amy. Yeah, so you don't need to aim, try to have T-Rex arms, Amy, here. So instead of letting your hands go out like this, you still want to be keeping your hands in front of you. Yep. So those hands will be in front of the kneecaps of the dummy instead of behind it on the shins. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So if this is the kneecap of Barry, he doesn't have any kneecaps. I'm going to get a dummy that does, so you guys can understand it better, right? I want to be up here. So my hand is going to be on front of the kneecap. My elbow is going to be inside the leg. The reason why is because then I can use my elbow to flare out the leg if I need to. You don't want to have your elbow outside the leg because then the person's just going to pull you into guard or omoplata or whatever. So inside control is just not with your legs, it's also with your elbows, right? So my elbows are also controlling the inside space. Elbows inside, hand in front of the kneecap, and then I'm here. So I can pry that leg out. All right. So give that better, much better. Yes, yeah, better. Mm-hmm. I know it's a dummy, it's kind of flimsy, but so it's kind of difficult to, yeah. There you go. So the second concept is creating tension. That tension is going to be what you do with your legs. When I was telling you guys to squat and get them wide, that's the tension here, right? So I want them to practically be doing the splits. Give it a few. Yeah. Details on the freaking thing. Good job, Jennifer. Good job. Okay, now we're gonna work on a third concept, driving with our feet and our hands. Okay, this is when it gets fun, and this is how it gets fun when you're setting up your pass. So when I get, whether I have inside control with my shins or not, soon as I am touching the person's legs, I'm gonna drive and put pressure. So I'm driving off of my feet, right? So if we go back to wrestling, it's the same. Like we're driving off we're driving into that shot. So I'm usually going to be driving off my back leg. And that's how I'm putting pressure onto the person. So the pressure transfers from my feet to my hands into the person, right? And it's not just going one direction. So I'm not just going forward with the pressure. I'm going to be going in drawing all types of like stars and hearts and whatever with my hands and moving around and having them do a lot of different types of movement to open up what I need them to open up. So remember, we've been working only on like really 2 passes for this entire month, and I'm going to stick with them. We're just going to get even more refined with how to set that pass up. So remember, we're setting this first pass, we're setting up the knee cut pass. So when I get into set up the knee cut, we're setting it up off the screamer. So for this, we're only going to screamer one leg in, and then we're still getting that staggered stance. I'm driving pressure to start into the opposite direction to get them nice and wide. And then I'm going to drive, right? I'm driving. If you guys saw that wide camera, I'm driving from one side, and then I'm driving off the other side, and that's going to get them to really change directions and open up. So their guard's going to be like, no, I'm trying to fight you to go back this way, and then I'm going to take you this way, and then we're setting up the pass, right? So that's the tension. Here, I'm driving into them. Usually we're kind of playing around. I'm trying to pick up the feet, whatever, getting them going different ways, trying to see, like they're trying to get them to chase me, trying to get their feet, like we talked, Amy, last week. I want to do all this stuff so they're chasing me. if once they start chasing me, they don't have any control anymore. So I'm getting them to chase me. Now I can set up where I want them to go. So that's kind of how I want you guys to start setting up your a screamer drill. For people on the chairs and people on the dummy, this is all you're doing. Boom, one leg over, drive pressure, and then you're driving into the other direction. It's just a little tip with your chair. Otherwise, you're gonna hurt yourself. Amy, you can pretty much follow all the way through because you have the dummy. So we're here, one leg screamer through, driving pressure in, and then dip. For Sarah, Cha, and Amy, you guys are really going to drive through. So we're putting all this pressure in with our dummy, and screaming one leg through, getting that tension. And then you're going to take your hand with the lead leg forward, grabbing the hip, and you're really going to pull them off to the side. Okay? So you're really driving and pulling them like way off to the side. So we're here, both legs inside, screaming, getting that tension. My hand slides to the hip, and then I'm all the way dumping them all the way to their side, right? So that's gonna help me open them up and set up the pass. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, cool, Jennifer, you brought up the dummies. It is hot. Yeah. Yes. Good job, Sarah. Sarah and John. Let's see. More drive, Sarah. Sarah, I want you to think like you're holding on to her and you're pulling her with you. Yeah. Pull her, Sarah, so she goes from being flat on her back to being on her side. You want to really open her up from being flat on her back to on her side. Mm-hmm. All right, you guys go ahead and finish the pass. So when we finish and complete the pass, right, we've driven them here, boom, our hands going from the hip, sliding up into the armpit, tacking the head down. The other hand is going to either, I like to underhook the arm, or you can pick it up traditional style, but I like the double underhooks. Turn the head, baseball slide out, back it up. You need me to do it again? Good. So the third part of the concept is compromising the body, the structure of the body. So we do that by backing it up, by turning their hips away from us. We do that by putting our head against their head and getting them to twist that way. We also do that by opening their arms up from their side and exposing their flank. Okay. Reinforcing this third concept, compromising the structure of the body. Compromise her spine by having her do this, having her do this, having her do this. All right, so we want them to be completely, here, twisted. Yeah. Good. Fourth concept, effective posts. So the effective posts are, you've already been doing that. So usually it's, posting is just putting your hand there onto the person. The first effective post is you're putting your hands onto the knees, driving into them. That's a post. The second one is when you bring your hand to the hip and you're blocking their leg from coming in. So you're posting on the hip and you're keeping your elbow knee connection, you're keeping your elbow tight to your rib cage so that they can't bring their foot back in, push you off, or getting inside your armpit. So you're controlling posting on their hip and controlling the inside space here. Okay, so those are your effective posts. There, another effective post you guys have is posting your head to the ground. Okay, and then we twist and turn and compromise the body structure there. So that's another really good post we have. Another one we have is the hands underneath the armpits, right? Those are posts. It's also controlling the inside space. So I'm just reinforcing all these concepts as you do them. Go back to the drill. You guys have been doing it great. And then we'll go into our advanced techniques. We're gonna get into that honey hole. That honey hole. Remember these concepts: inside control, creating tension. What is tension? What's a grip? That's pressure and counter pressure. Third concept, driving from your hands and feet to apply pressure or redirect pressure. Fourth concept, compromising the body structure. Fifth concept, utilizing effective posts. As you're drilling, remember these 5 concepts. Are you touching base on each one of these concepts as you're moving? One more, and then we'll get into the back step. All right, let's look in. So now we're getting into the back step. So I'm gonna just start here. Remember, so when we were doing the back step, it's when the person was still holding on to our legs, right? The person's still holding on to our legs, and so we back step from here, right? Instead of going, getting our butt high because we're trying to execute the knee bar, we're actually going to stay low this time. We're going to stay low, and we want to fall off at a T to our opponent. So what I like to do in this position is collect the bottom leg. I want to collect the bottom leg. So the person's leg is usually going to be, this one is going to be on top, crossing, or even if this one's on top, even better, and crossing. Then I'm always going to collect the leg that's furthest from me, not the leg that's inside my leg. So not this one. I'm going to collect this one. And I'll explain to you guys why. As you guys drill it, I'll show you on Sarah and Cha in a second. But first, I just want you to remember to collect this leg. So all you're doing is you can just grab the ankle. That's all you can do. You can even toe hold, grip it, grab the foot if that's all you got. You just want to grab the ankle, or you can grab into the knee pit. And you're going to remember this post on the other side of the head, right? So they don't roll you off. And you're just going to swivel and sit off to the side. This leg here is going to make sure it's kicking this leg to the nose, right? So this leg is kicking to the nose, and this leg is collecting. And we have our heel hook grip here. So I move into this position, right? My heel hook grip is going to be in my armpit. Boom, boom. But kicking to the nose here. And I can either cross, or you can Craig Jones it. This foot comes underneath and into a cross. Let me see if I can show it from this angle. It's a weird angle for me to show. I'll just have to describe it to Sarah and Cha. But you're using this inside leg to kick the top leg to the nose. And then this is where you're going from your heel hook. So I'm going to take my hand, slide from the knee all the way to the heel. My elbow turns back. My hand stays on the heel, crossing my hands together, hip in, and I'm pulling the toes to the butt. So let me walk Sarah and Cha through so you guys can all see it. So we're here setting up the knee slice pass. Boom. This pass to the side. She's gonna here, and then Cha's gonna back step, right? So from here, this is where I collect the bottom leg, and then you're gonna sit to your side. Yeah, and now that leg, your leg that's in between her legs, you're gonna use that hook to kick her foot to her knee. Yeah, and then what is your, yeah, that bottom hand is gonna trace from her knee all the way to her heel. Bottom hand, the bottom hand traces all the way to her heel. There you go. Good. Now that top hand's gonna wrap around around it into the rear naked choke grip. Yes, and this is how you finish. So make sure you're still kicking her other leg to her face, controlling that. Good. So you're going to bring your hands to your chin slowly. Bring your hands to your chin, shrug, hip in, and bring your toes to her butt. Yep, exactly, just like that. Good. Boom, here, exactly. Mm-hmm. Bottom hand trace all the way to from knee. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Controlling that. Boom. Exactly. So why do I like to control that bottom leg as I'm back stepping? If you do it one more time, Cha, get your third rep and go through it slowly. You're gonna drop into the honey hole slowly. So you're here, boom, back step, boom. If you don't control that leg, say you don't, and you're just gonna bring both hands to the top leg and try to go straight into the heel hook from here. This is where it's easier for Sarah to just kick out. Like as you're sitting back, she can kick out and then get into your leg or do whatever she wants, right? So she can kick out and then she will be attacking your leg, right? So the leg that's in the middle, right? The leg that's between Sarah's leg, Sarah can attack that, right? So if she kicks out, kick out Sarah underneath her leg, and then bring her foot to your hip. Yes, bring your foot back to her hip. So you're gonna basically have her leg between your legs, Sarah. Step over that leg that's between, yeah, and you can attack her leg. Exactly. Yes, that's what I was trying to get to. So as you're back stepping, Cha, I like to just keep control of that leg that she's trying to kick out. So go back into it. Just even from the top. Yeah, you can go through that slow and just control that leg as I'm sitting through. The trick is just to get your knee out. Your knee needs to be out of the hole, Cha, as you're sitting out. So sit into it and get your knee out of the hole. So right now your leg is probably long. So you're just gonna pull your knee to Sarah's chest or her belly button. So it's out of the hole and kicking her. Already your ankle should be in her knee pit, kicking her knee to her face. Yeah. And then boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So that's how I like to get into it when I do that. So can you two comment real quick so everybody can hear, and it makes where it was kind of getting confusing where we couldn't see is just give some clarification to everybody who's viewing. Go ahead, just talk us through, Cha. What are some things you noticed? Yeah.
I think we've because we've done this one before. I think Sarah and I practice this one fairly often because so I think what a lot of people do though is they do get that knee through the hole, and I know not to, but I think most people make that mistake, which is what you were talking through, which is a good detail.
Yes, yeah. So what I want you guys to remember, for those of you, everybody on here is watching to learn leg locks. If your knee is in the hole, you will have a higher chance of getting submitted. If your knee is out of the hole, you're not completely safe, but you're like 80% more safer than you were than if you had your knee in the hole. Okay? So if you're attacking for a leg lock, get your knee out of the hole. If you're attacking for a leg lock, you want their knee in the hole. Does that make sense? Right? So I'm like saying, when I say the hole, basically it's like, okay, outside, above the thigh or below the thigh. It's kind of how I think about it, but it's kind of situational. I know I'm probably confusing you guys. Just, you got to do it. Just go ahead, pull out your dummies, drill it. I'll walk you through it. I'll see as much as I can see. I try to give you as much detail verbally as I can give you with what we got right now, but I'm watching. Make sure your knee is outside the hole, Sarah. Yeah. And so Sarah, instead of grabbing for her ankle like that, control the leg, grab her knee pit. Yeah, it's closer. It's closer. And then you can just bring your other arm over the top and start sliding for, yes. You don't have to reach so far. We want to keep our arms, our hands short as we're grabbing. Mm-hmm. Try not to have your knees wide, Amy. Knees, you still want to have that knee pinch. Yes. Yeah. So you don't want to face away from her, Sarah. You want to be looking at her for this heel hook. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm watching Jennifer. Yeah, there you go. Slide. Yep. Imagine the end part is the heel, and then boom. There you go. Got to get them shins on your dummy, and then you'll have some heels on your dummy, Jennifer.
When you're doing the back step, where are you posting your hand?
On the other side of the face. So I'm here. You can see Barry in the wide camera, right? Right. Okay. So you won't be able to see him in the close view. So when I back step, I'm here, my hands usually on the hip, or it's going to be in the armpit, right? Just to keep them flat. And then as I'm back stepping, my hand goes whoop to the side of the head, usually. It can also go in the armpit, but usually it's going to the side of the head, and I'm back stepping here, boom, and that's where I'm posting, okay? So when I'm ready to go into the saddle is when I'll swivel, and then my hand just will track straight to that knee pit. From posting on the head, just going to the knee pit. Make sense? All right, good.
Sarah and I would like to make a comment.
Yes.
Shut up. Well, because whenever we were trying to get the heel, I've been hip escaping out just to get my just to get closer to the foot, because I can trace my hand all the way to the heel, but I feel so far away from the foot itself that I have to hip escape to get a little closer.
Yeah.
Then in turn puts their leg more to their nose or whatever, but I don't know if that just making that.
Yeah, no, you will have to hip escape, or like that whole transition from sitting on them to being in the saddle. It's it's how you adjust your hips that's going to get you in that pocket. So if you need to hip escape, shrimp a little bit to get into the right position, that's totally fine. I think the more you do it, your body will you won't have to do as many steps. You'll feel it right away, and you'll just land in the ideal position. Yeah, Amy. Yes. Mm-hmm. I like how you scooped the leg there, Amy, when you did that back step. That's exactly how it'll go down. You'll just be using how you were sitting on them to get the leg right into your little pocket where you want to break their leg. You can use both hooks, Cha. You don't have to just use the one. Both your feet hooks when you're kicking her leg to her nose. So, Amy, I highly suggest if you're going to use that hook, if you have the money to invest, check out Craig Jones' videos on that saddle position so you can get the supreme details on it. Yeah, because that's a really nice control position. Sometimes for me, I know even with the single hook, like how Cha's doing right now, I still have difficulty with them still being able to kick out or use their hands to push down and still kick out and get out. And so that like though using both of your feet, they're almost like an X guard position, seems to be like a better control. But I'm not the master of it, so check out Craig Jones' video, and you guys will get the additional deets.
Can I see Cha and Sarah do it once? I want to see where, like the person on the bottom, where your legs naturally are after the person on top does the back step. Sarah, are you crossing because you're afraid you're getting a knee barred? Is that why your legs are crossed already?
Actually, I thought I didn't cross my legs in that sequence, but maybe on the camera it looked like it. I think you can protect against a knee bar maybe by triangling briefly. Right? I don't know.
Try it, run through it, see what happens. If you try to figure for that top leg so you don't get knee barred. So she's going to backstab, you're going to try to cross here. But she could still collect that top leg. All she needs to do, because she's trying to go for the heel hook, all she needs to do is still collect the top leg. Make sure you butt scoot, Cha, and turn into her and face her so you can get into the heel hook. Yeah. And if she still keeps her legs crossed, this is the next one I was going to have you guys go into. Remember the that calf slicer, that NAR calf slicer, where you're using their own legs to calf slice them. So you're going to hit that back step. Boom. You're still collecting this leg, but instead you're going. See if you get the tight camera. So this far leg, right? That's the one you're collecting. You're going to go underneath it and then grab it so their legs are crossed. And instead of going into the honey hole, your knee is still out of the knee. Your knee is still out of the lock. Your foot comes to the hip. Your foot comes to the hip, right? So you're here, and then you're just going to adjust. Boom. And then you're finishing. You're finishing that way. Look how twisted up his legs are. It's not going to be that twisted up in reality. It's kind of like a cartoon, but right. So his legs here. Your hand comes in between them, between the legs, and then boom. You're making them calf slice each other. So go ahead and run through that, Cha, real quick so they can see it. So you're here, same thing, back step, collecting the top leg, boom. Your hand's gonna go underneath the bottom leg. Still face her, sit to your hip and face her. Yep, foot to the hip. And then, yeah. So you might just need to do it one more time. So then this time your head is facing the camera instead of her butt facing the camera. Yeah. Boom, boom. Here, back step. Boom, collecting that leg. Here. Yep. Oh, and squeeze, right? So you guys also have that option. So go ahead and give that a try, you two. Next week looks like we'll run through all of them again from the freaking first leg lock class when we did that whole crazy 360 freaking leg lock sequence. Boom. There you go, Amy. Boom. And you're stomping on the hip and pulling up on that leg to get the finish. And you still have the heel hook here. You even have a straight ankle lock here. And you have lots of control into lots of different transitions from this position. Yeah, try not to let go, Sarah. Stomp on the hip. Try not to let go. Just transition smoothly straight through it. Let your hand glide. Yeah, if she has her legs crossed that way, you got the heel hook. If she crosses the other way, then you have the calf slicer. So no way she can defend. No way. You got all the leg locks right there. It doesn't matter which way you cross, she's taking a leg. few more minutes. There you go, Amy. Boom, boom, back step. Yes. So in this case, I would go for the straight ankle on the top leg, Sarah. So you can use your bottom hand on that top leg. And then you want your bottom hand, Sarah, not your top hand, but your bottom hand to go underneath her calf. So on top of the leg. You don't have to move that leg out the way, Cha. So just, Sarah, just go over the top of that leg with the bottom hand, with your bottom hand. So the hand that's closest to Cha, underneath that top leg, underneath it. No, let go of it with your top hand. Yes, yes, exactly. Now you've got a straight stomp on her foot, and you got a freaking gnar straight ankle lock right there. All right, we'll go through all that again. And it's like freaking 3 leg locks right there. And you guys still have the knee bar and toe hold set up. You know what I mean? So we'll put all this together even more next week. I see Amy running through it. Do you guys have any questions before I let you go for tonight? I'll start with you, Jennifer. Any comments?
No, I want some more legs to work on.
Mm-hmm. Legs, legs, legs. Amy, what's up? Amy's still drilling. She's like, what? What's up, Amy? Sorry to like take you off.
I was trying to figure out the defense you showed Sarah once she escaped that top hook. It was like where she had like pummel a leg over and bring a leg over, and there was a heel hook there.
Oh yeah. Okay, do it. Let me see real quick. Yeah, you, Amy. Sorry. Okay, so here, boom. Oh, so you're getting leg locked right now, right? And you, okay, so set up the dummy so the dummy is kicking your leg to your face, right? Exactly. So what you're trying to do is you can use your hand that's closest to the dummy, push that leg down, and then get your leg over the top of it. Yeah. So that inside leg is not going to be there, actually. Here, Sarah, you do it. Sarah and Charlie, you do it so you guys can see where your leg should be set up. Yeah. So here she goes, back step, boom, boom, boom. She's going to sit into the saddle, right? So, okay, sit back. So it's the leg that's closest to you. That leg, wait, don't move yet. Don't move yet. Because we're trying to help Amy get the setup right. So, darn it, yeah. So that one leg is going to be between, yeah. Yeah, so that leg is going to be the one that's attacking, right? So that leg's in the middle, right? And then Sarah's trying to sit back into it. She's kicking over, kicking out, and then she's going to have to extract her other leg. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, and then she get into the leg from there. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Makes better sense, Amy? So that leg that you had in the middle, you have to extract it, get out the hole, and then you reattack. All right, Sarah, John, any comments? Nope. Child was like, nah, she.
Oh, it's just coming along. It's been great learning this the last few months.
Yeah, right. We've been on this for several months, and then we just got we just got back to that first crazy leg lock sequence that I showed you guys with all the different leg locks, and now we can actually apply it in a situation, and you can see it here. It's like, oh, if they cross this way, I have the heel hook. If they cross that way, I have the bicep slicer. I still have the straight ankle lock, that other one, the rear naked choke one. And then we'll just review all that stuff next week before we move on. And Darren gave us this really cool drill last week on Wednesday with just doing the leg pummeling thing. We were doing this one here, boom, open up this, and then we're here. And then we can, instead of just staying in the leg lock, we can use this tension to set up coming up to the top, to set up passes from here. So let's just review the leg locks again and that entanglement again. And then we'll set up some more cool shit. All right, you guys, I'll let you all go. Thank you for another great powwow.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. Appreciate all of y'all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
See ya. Bye.